Thousands of cars are being sold off at incredibly low prices right now. And most people don't know why Hertz, once one of the largest names in car rentals, is having financial difficulties again. Their solution is to flood the market with incredibly cheap cars, but there's a catch. If you're not careful, you could end up making a costly mistake. We're delving into the Hertz fire sale and the larger crisis that is developing in the auto industry. Hertz's demise is not limited to a single business. Rather, it is a sign of a much larger change in the auto sector that may alter how you purchase, rent, or even own a vehicle by switching from rental agencies to automakers. The pressure is being felt by everyone. How will this impact you? What other businesses are being compelled to sell off their fleets? And what are the pitfalls concealed behind that inexpensive sticker? After watching, you will have a clear understanding of what is happening, how to capitalize on it, and what the future of car ownership actually looks like. Hertz was more than just a car rental company. It was a powerhouse that dominated the global rental industry for decades. To fully comprehend what is happening, we must discuss how we got here, as Hertz was synonymous with accessibility, convenience, and dependability for millions of travelers. At its height, the company had a firm hold on the airport rental market, with locations in almost all of the world's major cities. It also had a large fleet of cars and a reputation that made it the preferred option for both business and leisure travelers. But how does a company that powerful fail? The solution is found in a string of tactical errors, market upheavals, as well as one enormous gamble that went horribly wrong. When ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft started to eat into Hertz's customer base due to shifting consumer behavior, the company first experienced financial instability in the 21st century. Meanwhile, Hertz's traditional business model was further upended by the emergence of alternative car ownership models like leasing and long-term rentals. The business found it difficult to innovate quickly enough and mainly relied on antiquated tactics that did not meet customer expectations before the global pandemic struck. Lockdowns, travel restrictions, and a precipitous drop in tourism were the last straws. Revenue fell virtually immediately, and the company, which was already in a precarious financial situation, filed for bankruptcy in a last-ditch effort to survive, wiping out billions of dollars in debt. Hertz attempted to recover from its initial bankruptcy, but it was a phony one. By placing high-risk financial bets and purchasing pricey assets that it could not afford in the long run, the company tried to stage a comeback. However, the foundation began to crack, and soon Hertz was in a deeper crisis than ever before. What Hertz did next would cause a domino effect that resulted in an unprecedented financial collapse. One of the major errors that cost Hertz billions of dollars was its excessive reliance on airport rentals. Due to the fact that millions of travelers required temporary transportation upon landing, airports have historically been a goldmine for rental companies. Hertz centered a large portion of its business strategy on these busy areas. But as ride-sharing services proliferated, more travelers chose to use Uber or Lyft rather than rent a car, which reduced the airport's traffic. Revenue was substantial even prior to the pandemic. This change had already started to reduce Hertz's earnings, but the company's leadership neglected to modify the business plan in time. When the pandemic hit, Hertz's reliance on airport rentals became a huge liability. Due to travel restrictions, airports that were once teeming with tenants became abandoned, with their main source of income being completely destroyed. Hertz was losing money at an unsustainable rate, so rather than making a swift change, the company rushed to obtain temporary financial relief, accruing even more debt in the process. The pandemic revealed the flaws in Hertz's business plan, but the company's post-bankruptcy financial choices were what ultimately brought it to ruin in an attempt to repair its reputation and establish itself as a pioneer in sustainability. Hertz boldly invested $1 billion in electric cars. The goal of the move was to update its fleet and draw in eco-aware clients, but it was poorly carried out. Hertz bought a massive fleet of electric cars, before fully comprehending the costs and infrastructure needed to keep them in good working order. For customers who were unfamiliar with electric cars, the rental process was made more difficult by the limited availability of charging stations. Furthermore, the cost of maintaining and repairing electric cars, particularly luxury models like Tesla's, turned out to be significantly higher than expected. What initially appeared to be a futuristic investment swiftly turned into an operational nightmare that was consuming company resources at an alarming rate. By the time Hertz realized its error, it was too late, and the business was sitting on a depreciating asset. Customers were reluctant to rent the fleet of electric cars. Financial strain increased, and Hertz was unable to overcome its self-inflicted wounds due to growing losses. In a desperate attempt to stay afloat, Hertz was forced to take drastic measures. In addition to selling off cars, the company started liquidating its assets on a never-before-seen scale. While most people are aware that Hertz is selling off thousands of cars, the liquidation goes far beyond that. Hertz is also selling off office space, corporate infrastructure, technology systems, and even business licenses. In order to free up funds and prevent total collapse, the company is selling everything it owns. This means that in addition to discounted cars, there are also deals available in commercial assets, office furniture, and business contracts that were previously owned by Hertz. Astute buyers are snatching these assets up for a fraction of their original value. But the cars are the true star of this story. Due to Hertz's financial difficulties, thousands of cars, including luxury models, are being sold for steep discounts. Whether you're searching for an electric car, SUV, or economy car, this fire sale is opening up opportunities that haven't been seen in years. But not all of these cars are made equal. Before you jump at the chance to take advantage of these deals, there's one important thing to keep in mind: Hertz's fire sale. With Hertz selling off its fleet, thousands of vehicles are coming to the market at drastically reduced prices. These cars are available through dealership partnerships, direct sales, and auctions. But before you jump in, it's important to understand exactly what you're getting into and how to make the most of this unprecedented purchasing opportunity. Although Hertz vehicles are typically well-maintained because rental companies follow stringent maintenance schedules, they frequently sustain more wear and tear than average due to the large number of customers with different driving styles, even though the discounts might seem too good to refuse. When choosing wisely, a purchase made without due diligence could result in unforeseen repair expenses later on. It is crucial to always confirm the vehicle's accident history, prior repairs, and maintenance logs. Mileage is another crucial consideration. Some Hertz cars may have minor issues that are not immediately apparent, but could affect performance over time. While Hertz provides significant savings, many rental cars accrue a lot of mileage quickly, which can reduce their longevity and resale value. The trade-off can be earlier than anticipated maintenance requirements. Additionally, buyers should distinguish between certified pre-owned cars and purchases at auction. For those thinking about buying an electric car, some Hertz vehicles are offered as certified pre-owned models that are subject to extra inspection and warranties, while others are put up for auction with no guarantees, meaning the buyer bears all liability. Extra care must be taken when buying a discounted Tesla or other electric vehicle. It is essential to examine the battery's condition, charging capabilities, and repair expenses. Certain electric cars might need expensive batteries or have a shorter range. Alternatives. Real-world examples demonstrate that buyers have obtained luxury SUVs and electric cars for less than half of their initial market value. But not all transactions are made equal. Some cars may appear to be a good deal at first, but for those who do their homework and move fast, they may have hidden mechanical problems that raise costs later. If you are thinking about making a move, now is the time to act before these deals disappear. Hertz's liquidation offers a unique chance to buy a quality vehicle at a fraction of its retail price. But this window will not last long. Once these cars are gone, they are gone for good. The dangers of renting a car second-hand. Although it may seem like a great way to save money, there are risks that most buyers are unaware of that can cause harm. Drivers of cars, similar to those in any rental fleet, are numerous people with various driving styles. Due to frequent daily use for short-term rentals, many rental cars have high mileage, which is not always a deal-breaker, but may indicate increased strain on the engine, transmission, and suspension. This causes accelerated wear and tear that may not be immediately apparent, but can result in expensive repairs later. While some Hertz cars are well maintained, others might have only minor repairs made to satisfy specifications, which could cause underlying problems to go unnoticed. Nevertheless, some Hertz cars might be great bargains. Others, however, might become financial liabilities. Before making a purchase, it is important to consider the vehicle's history, maintenance records, and general condition. You can prevent expensive surprises by looking for wear, checking for accident history, and getting an evaluation from a reliable mechanic. If you believe that Hertz's regular rental cars are risky, their electric vehicles pose a completely different problem. Hertz's nightmare with Tesla Hertz made headlines by investing in electric vehicles, especially Teslas, because it thought they were the way of the future for rental cars. The plan was to update its fleet and draw in eco-aware renters, but what seemed like a progressive move swiftly devolved into a financial catastrophe, and customers renting Teslas from Hertz encountered unforeseen difficulties. Renters unfamiliar with electric vehicles were frustrated because charging infrastructure was not as common or practical as traditional fuel stations. Additionally, because there were fewer specialized service centers and fewer parts available, Tesla repairs were more costly and took longer than expected. With thousands of electric vehicles in its inventory, Hertz was losing money more quickly than anticipated due to the depreciation of electric vehicles. The company now finds itself unable to recover the initial investment. These Teslas are being sold at incredibly low prices, but whether or not you should buy one depends on whether you are prepared for the hidden costs that come with a used electric vehicle. The issue got worse when Tesla drastically reduced the prices of new vehicles, which decreased the resale value of Hertz's existing fleet. The hidden costs of purchasing a used Tesla from Hertz. Although a used Tesla may appear like a great bargain, particularly given the sharp price reductions during Hertz's liquidation, electric cars have special difficulties that many buyers are unaware of. One of the most important things to think about is battery health. Unlike a gasoline engine, which can be maintained with routine maintenance, the performance of an electric vehicle is largely dependent on its battery, which deteriorates over time. Since Teslas have probably been driven a lot, their battery capacity may be drastically diminished. Once having a 300-mile range, a battery may now only have 200 miles or less. Electric vehicles frequently have higher repair costs than conventional gasoline-powered vehicles, and replacing an electric vehicle's battery is one of the most costly repairs, sometimes amounting to tens of thousands of dollars, negating any savings from the original purchase. Even small repairs can be expensive due to complex technology, specialized parts, and fewer repair shops. Electric vehicles may also have higher insurance costs because some insurers view them as more expensive to replace or repair, whereas a Hertz. Although Tesla may appear to be an amazing deal, buyers should carefully consider the long-term costs before making a commitment. For those who are prepared and well-informed, there are real deals to be found. But for others, the hope of a discounted Tesla could become a costly error. There are certain steps you should take to get the best deal if you're serious about buying a Hertz car, whether it's an electric or gas-powered model. With thousands of cars on the market, how can one truly find the best deals? Hertz direct sales and auctions provide a previously unheard-of chance to buy cars at steep discounts. But not all deals are created equal, and it's important to navigate the process carefully. One of the best ways to do this is to look into the history of the car you're interested in. Many Hertz vehicles have thorough service records, which let you find those that have been well maintained. Steer clear of vehicles with murky histories or indications of recurring mechanical problems. It's also essential to comprehend how Hertz auctions operate. Price increases can result from bidding wars, and it's simple to get swept up in the excitement and overpay. Costly errors can be avoided by adhering to a strict budget and being aware of the car's market value. Furthermore, some Hertz cars are offered for sale through dealerships as opposed to auctions. These might have extra war warranties or certification, making them a safer option for customers who wish to additional defense. For those who play it wisely, comparing dealership and auction prices can help identify which path provides the best overall value. Hertz's liquidation is a unique opportunity to purchase high-quality cars at prices that might never be found again. But these offers won't last long because more buyers will take advantage of the discounts, reducing inventory and possibly raising prices. If you're thinking about acting, now is the time to do it before these offers end. The industry of renting cars is dying. The travel and business cornerstone is what the rental car industry seeks. There is an existential crisis in mobility. Hertz's demise is not a singular incident. Rather, it is a sign of a much more serious issue that is impacting car rental companies all over the world. The industry has had difficulty adjusting to the changes brought about by evolving consumer preferences, technological breakthroughs, and financial strains. The emergence of ride-sharing services is one of the largest risks facing rental companies. Companies like Uber and Lyft have completely altered the way that people think about transportation. Many travelers now depend on these app-based services for point-to-point convenience, frequently at a lower cost, rather than renting a car for a few days. A further alternative to traditional rentals has been made possible by the rise of car subscription services, which let users pay a monthly fee to access a range of vehicles without having to deal with the hassle of daily rental prices or the long-term commitment of ownership. Businesses such as Enterprise and Avis are rushing to adjust, and some are incorporating their own ride-sharing options, while some are experimenting with flexible leasing options to appeal to younger consumers who no longer view owning a car as necessary. These measures might not be sufficient to halt the downward trend, as the rental industry struggles to reinvent itself, and rivals are vying for its business. What is occurring in the rental industry is only the start of a much larger shift that is taking place throughout the entire automotive sector, and the auto industry is on the verge of a crisis. Here's why the rental market is having trouble. For years, automakers increased production to meet rising demand, but now they are producing more cars than consumers are willing to purchase, creating an imbalance that could have serious repercussions. The larger automotive industry is also dealing with difficulties of its own. Affordability is among the main causes of this crisis. Since the price of new cars has increased significantly, many prospective buyers can no longer afford them. Increased auto loan interest rates have further deterred buyers from making major purchases, which has caused sales to stagnate. As a result, automakers are being forced to offer steep discounts to entice buyers, and dealerships are finding it difficult to move inventory. This crisis's knock-on effects are widespread. The pressure extends beyond auto dealerships to suppliers, manufacturers, and even financial organizations that offer auto loans. Hertz's collapse is a sign of what is to come, and a slowdown in the auto industry could result in job losses, plant closures, and a broader economic downturn. Many people are still unaware of how this crisis will affect them, even if they do not purchase a Hertz vehicle or are not in the market for a rental car. it is not only affecting corporations, it is also directly affecting consumers. Economic changes in the automotive and rental sectors will have a long-term impact on the overall market. One of the most noticeable effects will be in the used car market, where Hertz and other rental companies are selling off their fleets, causing a flood of cars to hit the market at drastically lower prices. This increase in supply is anticipated to result in lower used car prices overall, giving buyers a unique opportunity. However, for those financing their purchases, auto loans are getting more costly, interest rates are rising, and banks are tightening their lending standards, making it more difficult for many customers to be eligible for favorable loan terms. Because of rising financing costs, the total cost of ownership may remain high, even if car prices decline. A possible move away from traditional car ownership is another consequence of the crisis, as automakers adapt to shifting consumer habits and rental companies struggle. As alternative mobility options like long-term leasing, shared ownership, and subscription-based vehicle access become more popular, people's perspectives on car ownership may change going forward. Trends present a chance for them to make wise choices that may pay off in the long run, and acting now could make all the difference. The last warning: Hertz's demise and the difficulties facing the rental and auto industries are not merely news stories. They are indicators of a larger economic change that may alter how people use and purchase goods. Automobiles. For astute investors and consumers alike, the current market offers a special opportunity. For those wishing to buy a car, now may be one of the best times to buy a used car. Prices are anticipated to decrease as an influx of rental cars enters the market, presenting opportunities for substantial discounts. However, buyers should exercise caution and perform comprehensive research to steer clear of potential pitfalls, including concealed mechanical problems or inflated financing options for investors. The evolving landscape of mobility services offers fresh opportunities for companies that are effectively adjusting to changing consumer preferences. Those embracing ride-sharing, subscription models, or digital-first rental experiences are poised to emerge more robust from this transition. Recognizing these shifts now could place investors in a favorable position for the future. Ultimately, the Hertz fire sale is merely one aspect of a much larger narrative. The rental and auto industries are undergoing significant transformation, and those who identify these changes early will be in the best position to reap the rewards. Would you consider purchasing a Hertz car at these prices? Here's the thing: Hertz isn't the only company offloading cars. While Hertz's liquidation is making headlines, it is not the sole company inundating the market with vehicles across the industry. Leasing companies, corporate fleets, and even car manufacturers are rapidly offloading vehicles. The combination of shifting market trends and economic instability is compelling many companies to scale back their fleets and reduce inventory. Rental car companies face significant vulnerabilities. Hertz's competitors, including Enterprise and Avis, are encountering comparable challenges as travel patterns shift. The rise of ride-sharing services is diminishing the demand for traditional rentals, while economic uncertainty is hindering travel for these companies. May soon follow Hertz's example in reducing costs through fleet reductions.